If you are a woman between the ages of 55 and 75, I want you to pause for just a moment. Not for your children, not for your spouse, not for anyone else, but for yourself. You have spent a lifetime putting others first. You have been the caretaker, the provider, the peacemaker, the glue that held everything together, often in silence, often without recognition. And now, the house might be quieter. The days might feel slower. Maybe you are retired, maybe widowed, maybe newly alone, or maybe simply trying to figure out who you are now that the world no longer needs you in the same way it once did. And that is exactly why this message is for you. Because underneath all the titles, mother, wife, sister, daughter, friend, there is a woman who has lived, endured, sacrificed, and loved deeply. And now is the time to finally love her back. You're not done. Your story is not over. In fact, the most important chapter, the one where you get to live on your own terms, is just beginning. This is not about doing more. It is not about fixing anything. It is about honoring who you are, exactly as you are. You have earned the right to rest. You have earned the right to laugh, to dream again, to wake up and feel excited for no reason at all. You do not have to prove anything to anyone anymore. So in this video, I want to speak directly to the part of you that still believes there is more joy to feel, more beauty to witness, and more freedom to claim. Because there is. And it begins the moment you stop asking, what should I be doing? And start asking, what do I want to feel? You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. And you are most certainly not too late. This is your time now. 1. You were everything to everyone. But what about you? You have been the steady hands behind every family gathering, the quiet strength during hard times, the warmth in every room you ever walked into. For decades, you were the one who got things done. Not because you had time, but because someone had to, and more often than not, that someone was you. You were the one who made sure birthdays were remembered, meals were cooked, kids were picked up, and hearts were held when they broke. You wore so many hats, sometimes all at once: mother, wife, caregiver, employee, friend, volunteer. You didn't ask for recognition. You just showed up, again and again, even on the days you felt exhausted, even when no one said thank you. You sacrificed sleep, dreams, time, and sometimes even parts of yourself, because that is what strong women do. You put yourself second, third, or last, because that is what was needed at the time. You held your family together, often through quiet strength that others never fully understood. And now that the noise has quieted, the routines have slowed, and maybe the children are grown and gone, you may find yourself asking, who am I now? That question can feel confusing. You might feel a strange mixture of freedom and loss. You might feel invisible, as if the world has moved on and forgotten the woman who once held it together. But here is the truth that matters most right now. You are still here. The woman who gave so much is not empty. She is full of life, of memories, of strength, and of stories still waiting to be written. And now, for perhaps the first time in a long time, she has room to breathe. You are not just what you did for others. You're not just the roles you played. You're a whole person. And this is your invitation to reconnect with her, the version of you that may have been buried under decades of duty. Ask yourself gently, what do I want? What do I need? What do I feel? This chapter is not about reinventing yourself. It is about remembering yourself. Coming back to the woman you were before the world asked so much of you, and letting her finally lead. 2. You've earned the right to slow down without guilt. For most of your life, you were praised for being busy. You were admired for being strong, dependable, tireless. You learned that worth was something you proved through effort, through self-sacrifice, through the endless to-do lists that kept everyone else's life running smoothly. Rest was something you had to earn, and even then, it came with guilt. There was always more to do, someone else to help, something else to handle. You were proud of being able to push through. It made you feel needed. It made you feel useful. But now, let me offer you something you might not hear often enough. You have nothing left to prove. You have earned the right to rest, and not just because you're tired, but because you are worthy of peace. Slowing down is not weakness. It is wisdom. It means you are finally listening to your body, your soul, and your heart, and choosing a pace that honors where you are now. You do not need permission to move slowly, to take naps, to enjoy quiet mornings with your coffee, to sit by a window and do nothing but watch the trees move. You do not have to explain why you do not want to run errands, attend every event, or stay busy just to feel valuable. You are valuable because you exist, not because of what you produce. We live in a world that glorifies hustle, that treats exhaustion like a badge of honor. But you are in a new season now. And in this season, rest is sacred. It is productive in its own way because it heals, it restores, and it allows joy to bloom again. You can stop saying yes when you mean no. You can clear your schedule. You can sleep late. You can slow walk through the grocery store. You can choose ease over effort, simplicity over chaos, and softness over struggle. This is your time to feel light again, not because the world changed, but because you finally gave yourself permission to stop carrying what was never yours to hold. 3. Your time is worth more than your savings account. You spent years, maybe decades, planning for the future. You saved carefully. You gave up little luxuries. You worked longer hours. You skipped vacations. You said things like, maybe one day, or after I retire, or once the kids are grown, then I'll have time. And now, here you are, in the time you once dreamed about. But maybe you're still waiting, still hesitating, still putting off the little joys that once felt indulgent. Let me remind you of something you already know in your heart. You cannot buy more time. You cannot deposit it, save it, or earn it back. Once a moment is gone, it is gone. And that makes it more valuable than anything money can buy. This part of life is not about collecting more things. It is about collecting more moments. Not bigger houses or newer cars, but deeper conversations, brighter sunsets, longer hugs, and quieter mornings. If your needs are met, if you have shelter, food, and security, then you have already won more than many. Now the real question becomes, what will you do with the time you have left? You do not need to live recklessly. You just need to live intentionally. That might mean saying yes to something spontaneous, booking the trip, trying the dance class, taking the train to visit a friend, or simply spending an entire afternoon doing something that makes your heart feel light, even if it seems small. You have permission to enjoy yourself now, not in 10 years, not when everything is perfect, not when you feel like you deserve it, but today. Your time is precious, it is sacred, and it belongs to you. So start living like it does. 4. Subtract what drains you. Add what heals you. There is a time in life when more feels like progress, more commitments, more things, more noise. We add responsibilities, relationships, even decorations, hoping they will fill the emptiness. We say yes to people and plans and ideas that no longer reflect who we are, but we do it out of habit, out of obligation, out of fear that saying no means letting someone down. But what if this chapter of life is not about adding more? It is about letting go. What if the path to peace is not paved with additions, but subtractions? Now is the time to take a slow, honest look at your life and ask, what is draining me? What no longer fits? What have I outgrown but held on to out of guilt or routine? It might be old friendships that leave you feeling unseen or used. It might be expectations you have placed on yourself to still be the one who hosts the holidays, manages every detail, or keeps everyone emotionally afloat. It might even be beliefs about what a good woman should do that no longer serve you. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to let go of things that once mattered but do not anymore. You're allowed to put down the roles and labels and masks you wore for decades. And in doing so, you create space for something softer, more honest, and more you. Letting go is not selfish. It is sacred. It makes room for healing, for freedom, for breath. And when you subtract what no longer belongs in your life, you begin to notice what does. Joy in the simplest things. Energy. You thought you lost returning to your days. Quiet moments that do not feel lonely, but peaceful. So, let go of what weighs you down and hold tightly to what lifts you up, even if it is small, even if no one else understands it. Less noise, less guilt, less pressure, more presence, more peace, more soul. This is not the time to prove yourself. It is the time to know yourself and to choose, unapologetically, what feels right in your spirit. 5. You still have chapters to write. Some people will try to tell you that your best years are behind you, that your story is mostly written, that what is left are simply the final paragraphs, waiting quietly to fade out. Do not believe that. You are not done. You are not finished. You are not too old to feel alive, to try something new, to fall in love again, or to dream in bright colors. You have lived 1,000 lives already. As a daughter, a wife, a mother, a friend. You have grown and adapted and carried others through storms. And that makes you incredibly resilient. That makes you rich in something deeper than youth. It makes you rich in wisdom. And now, that wisdom is your strength. It is your superpower. You no longer need approval. You no longer need to follow rules you did not write. You no longer need to seek permission from a world that barely stopped to thank you for all the ways you held it together. Now, you get to ask yourself, what do I want to do with this time that belongs only to me? Is there a hobby you abandoned when life got too busy? Is there a passion that still flickers inside you, waiting to be reignited? Is there a place you always wanted to see? A class you always wanted to take? A skill you never had time to explore? It is not too late. You're not too old. You're perfectly placed in this moment to begin again. Maybe you want to write, or paint, or learn to dance. Maybe you want to mentor someone younger, or plant a garden, or foster animals, or simply rediscover the things that make you laugh. Your purpose does not need to be loud or flashy. It can be quiet and deeply meaningful, like reading to children at the library, or walking a neighbor's dog, or learning a new language just because it excites you. This is your invitation to stop waiting. Life is not over. It is shifting. And that shift can be beautiful if you allow it. The pages ahead are blank. And you, dear one, are still the author. Pick up the pen. Write something new. Something just for you. 6. Rediscover the power of being a woman, not just a role. For so many years, you were someone's something. Someone's mother. Someone's wife. Someone's helper. You were known by your ability to give, to serve, to support. And while those roles were real and meaningful and beautiful, they were never the full picture of who you are. Underneath every label was a woman. A full, vibrant, passionate woman. She may have been quieted by years of noise and necessity, but she never disappeared. She has always been there, waiting. And now, you have the opportunity, perhaps for the first time in your life, to be a woman on your own terms, not someone's helper, not someone's support system, not someone's background, just you. That can feel strange at first, even uncomfortable. You may feel guilty for focusing on yourself. You may hear the old voices that say things like, "That is selfish," or "You should still be doing more." But listen closely. There is nothing selfish about reclaiming yourself. There is nothing wrong with finally choosing what you want to wear, where you want to go, what you want to eat, how you want to spend your day. You get to dress for comfort, not for appearance. You get to speak your truth, even if it shakes the room. You get to stop apologizing for your wrinkles, your laugh lines, your silver hair, your beautiful aging body that has carried you through every season of life. You are not invisible. You are not irrelevant. You are not past your prime. You are in your true prime, a time of self-trust, of clarity, of permission. You no longer need to chase youth. You get to embrace your own becoming, the raw, the real, the radiant woman you are right now. And in doing so, you teach others, especially younger women, what freedom looks like. Freedom looks like no longer shrinking to fit someone else's definition of what a woman should be. Freedom looks like saying, "This is me, and I like her." You're not too much. You're not too loud. You're not too late. You're whole, and you are home. 7. Peace is the new ambition. For most of your life, ambition might have looked like striving, like pushing harder, like reaching for goals, managing a calendar full of obligations, and proving you could do it all. You were ambitious in all the ways society taught you to be: efficient, responsible, tireless. You got things done, even when you were tired. You held everything together, even when you wanted to fall apart. You didn't rest unless everyone else was okay first. But now? Now, peace is the new ambition. Because peace is no longer something you stumble into on a weekend or on vacation. It is something you choose, daily, intentionally. Peace now looks like mornings without rush, evenings without noise, friendships that feel gentle, kind, and safe, boundaries that protect your energy, silence that nourishes, not isolates. You no longer have to chase success as the world defines it. You can define it yourself. And maybe now, success is simply this: a day that feels good in your body and quiet in your mind. A day where you felt connected to something meaningful. A day where you did not have to explain yourself to anyone. Peace does not mean everything is perfect. It means you are no longer controlled by chaos. It means you have given yourself permission to release the pressure, the pace, and the perfectionism that once ruled your life. Peace is sleeping well. Peace is choosing kindness for yourself. Peace is walking away from drama. Peace is sitting with your own thoughts and feeling at home there. This is not a time to compete or compare. This is a time to embrace stillness as strength. Because when the world gets loud, a woman who knows how to be still, who knows how to be grounded, becomes a powerful force. So let go of the old ambition that drained you. Let peace become your new standard. And let your days be measured not by how much you achieved, but by how deeply you lived. 8. Gratitude is your superpower. Now, there was a time when gratitude felt like something you had to practice, something you had to remind yourself to feel in the middle of chaos and exhaustion. Back then, You were grateful for the basics. A paycheck that cleared, kids who came home safe, a few hours of sleep. But the pace of life was so fast, you barely had time to pause and appreciate what was happening in the moment. Now, everything is different. Not because life is easier. In fact, there may be aches where there used to be energy. There may be loved ones missing from the dinner table. There may be memories that bring tears as quickly as they bring smiles. But through it all, you have gained something precious: perspective. Gratitude now is not just about what you have. It is about what you notice. You notice the way morning light touches the floor in your kitchen. You notice the warmth of your blanket, the softness of your pet curled beside you, the sound of birds outside your window. You feel the hug longer. You smile when you remember something funny from 30 years ago. You cry more easily, but also more freely, because you are no longer ashamed of your feelings. This is your superpower, the ability to find beauty in small things, the strength to be present in moments others might miss. Gratitude softens everything. It doesn't erase your grief, your pain, or your frustration, but it gives you a way to live beside those emotions with gentleness. It reminds you that while you may not have everything you once had, you have enough, and often more than enough. And when you choose to focus on what is present instead of what is gone, you reclaim joy. You reclaim strength. You reclaim your sense of wholeness. There is nothing more powerful than a woman who wakes up each day and says, "Thank you." Not because everything is perfect, but because she is alive and still learning how to love this life exactly as it is. 9. Leave a legacy of joy, not just sacrifice. When people talk about legacy, they often talk about what you built, what you owned, or what you left behind in material form. But your true legacy? It's not in what you gave away. It's in how you lived. For so many years, your life was defined by sacrifice. You gave your time. You gave your strength. You gave your sleep, your plans, your dreams. And while those sacrifices were noble, they were also quiet, often invisible, sometimes thankless. But what if your legacy now became something brighter? What if it became joy? Imagine the younger women in your life, your daughters, your granddaughters, your nieces, or even the strangers who watch you from across the room. Imagine them seeing you, not just as someone who gave, but someone who thrived. Someone who still laughs loudly, who sings while cooking, who walks barefoot in the grass, who wears bold colors and speaks her mind and loves herself fiercely, without apology. Because that kind of living teaches more than lectures ever could. It shows others that aging is not about shrinking or fading. It is about expanding, in wisdom, in courage, in authenticity. It shows that being a woman in her 60s or 70s is not a limitation. It is a liberation. You are no longer confined by what people expect. You're no longer worried about what they think. And in that space, you're free to be your most alive, most honest self. So, leave a legacy of joy. Let your story be one of light. Let your laughter be remembered. Let your freedom be contagious. Let your presence be a reminder that it is never too late to choose happiness, to find purpose, and to become fully, unapologetically yourself. You have sacrificed enough. Now let your legacy be how beautifully you lived. This is your season of bloom. You have lived through storms. You have carried burdens quietly. You have been strong in ways no one ever saw, and tender in moments that required grace. For decades, you gave your all, to family, to work, to community, to everyone who needed something from you. But now, you stand in a different season, not one of ending, but one of blooming. This is not the time to fade into the background. It is not the time to dim your light or minimize your presence. This is the time to rise gently into yourself, to expand into your truth, to give yourself the love and care you so freely gave to others for years. This is your season of bloom, and you don't need permission to grow. You are not behind. You're not too late. You're not less than because you have gray hair or slower steps or a quieter schedule. You're more present, more intuitive, more grounded, more whole. Your beauty now is not about youth. It's about depth. It's about how your eyes have seen joy and pain and still shine. It's about the way your presence brings calm. It's about how you know what matters and are no longer afraid to honor it. Let yourself bloom without fear. Take up space. Say what you mean. Rest when you need. Laugh without worrying how you look. Wear what feels good. Do what lights your spirit. There is no one else you need to be. The woman you are right now, in all her softness, strength, stillness, and soul, is enough. So let the world see her. This season is yours. If you've made it to this point, thank you. Truly. That means you took time for yourself today. You allowed your heart to be still. You opened your mind to something deeper. That alone is a powerful act of love. For yourself. Now, I want to ask you for one more thing. If this message touched something in you, if even one sentence made you feel seen, please don't keep it to yourself. There is another woman out there who needs to hear this. She may be your friend, your sister, your mother, or someone you barely know. But she's carrying invisible weight. She might be smiling on the outside while feeling lost inside. She might be wondering if she matters anymore. She might be waiting for permission to choose herself. Be the voice that reminds her. Share this message with her. Tell her she is not alone. Tell her it's okay to slow down. Tell her she is still beautiful, still worthy, still powerful, just as she is. And if you feel ready, not perfect, just ready, type the word ready in the comments. Let that word be your promise to yourself, to live a little softer, to breathe a little deeper, to honor your own needs, not out of guilt, but out of truth. Let this be the beginning of something new, because the next chapter of your life is not written yet, and the pen is in your hands. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you.